Good evening and good morning, ladies and gentlemen, to all of you who've joined from different parts of the world today. Well, we are celebrating the World Tourism Day, which is celebrated annually on September 27th and promotes awareness of tourism's vital role in society, culture, and economies, highlighting its capacity to foster global connections, sustainable development, and peace. Theme Tourism and Sustainable Transformation. The 2025 World Tourism Day celebration is being hosted in Melaka, Malaysia, and will highlight the sector's contribution to driving sustainable and inclusive local economies, whilst advocating for sector collaboration on transformative programs that will create employment, entrepreneurial opportunities, and economic growth. In 2024, the sector contributed 10% of global GDP and supported 1 in 10 jobs across the world. Youth aged 15 to 24 represent 15.5% of the global tourism workforce, exceeding the economy-wide average, while women account for 40% of sector's direct employment. Tourism is more than an economic sector. It is a catalyst for social progress, delivering education, employment, and creating new opportunities for all. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the World Tourism Day celebrations at IIHM. And here is a glimpse of the activities of the week that have happened across our campuses, with our students leading the initiatives promoting tourism and sustainable transformation. Panel discussions, sustainable travel planning competitions, upcycling food waste to edible products, and ideation on sustainable transformation activities were the key highlights of the current week. May we have the AV, please? Can we do it All right, ladies and gentlemen, these were the highlights for the week that are currently on. And moving forward, we will proceed to the keynote address by Mr. Nitin Kumar, who's the Director of Data Science at Marriott International. Mr. Nitin Kumar has over 20 years of IT experience and specializing in data science and AI. He currently serves as Director of Data Science at Marriott International, where he leads the design and deployment of enterprise scale data science and generative AI solutions across 30 global brands. He also serves as an industry judge for awards in artificial intelligence and technology, and he holds a master's in data science from the University of Illinois. Ladies and gentlemen, over to Mr. Nitin Kumar for his session. Over to you, Mr. Kumar, and welcome.
Okay. Hi, everyone. So thank you for giving me the opportunity to be on this platform. I'm really, really excited about this because this is where you kind of like the hospitality industry, I would say, is a kind of place where people can actually create experiences, right? They can actually delight the customers. They can actually make those moments very meaningful, right? So I'm really passionate about that. And is it okay if I can just share my screen and talk a little bit about as well?
Yes, yes. Please go ahead.
Okay. Um, are you able to see it?
Yes, we can.
Awesome. Okay. As we are gathering here about the hospitality, right? So let's talk about how this the data science and hospitality kind of marriage together and what things are actually coming out, right? So let's start. Okay, so I'm pretty sure most of you have kind of stayed in some of the hotels where they kind of somehow knew what you kind of needed before you even asked, right? Maybe they kind of set the room temperature of that hotel or room when you kind of walked in. Maybe you had the favorite newspaper handed over to you when you checked in, or maybe the concierge kind of recommended exactly the restaurant you are craving for. So you see, hospitality is all about care. It's all about the connection. It's all about helping the guest. Now the best hoteliers, right, if you kind of look under the hood, they will always have one thing figured out very good. They have a very good intuition. They can actually feel what the guests need, because unless and until you don't know what a guest need, you'll not be able to serve them better, right? But on the other side, the data science is all about intelligence, pure computational intelligence that can process millions of data points in seconds. Now, just imagine you have millions of data points of a customer, and then you kind of wants to help that customer. If you marry those two, what will happen, right? So together they kind of create a experience that feel magical, right? So that magic, I don't mean like some magic tricks, but I mean the kind of experience that makes the guest stop and thinks, how did they know about this, right? Or know about me, right? So when you combine the heart of hospitality with the power of data science, something extraordinary happens, right? Because you just don't serve guests, you kind of anticipate them. You don't just meet the expectation, you kind of exceed those expectations before they even form, right? So and this is not a science, right? So this is happening right now, right? A lot of companies actually use extensively data science practices to understand their customer needs, to understand how they can actually serve those customers better. And this is just the beginning, I would say. And as this agentic solution or the large language models come more and more into the play, you will see that whole landscape will kind of change. You'll see, for example, a very curated trip planning for you, right? Like when you call the customer care and say, hey, I'm planning to actually go to Paris with my family, they'll be able to curate a very, very specific itinerary for you, or maybe they kind of generate a very, very curated email that's hard to resist, and maybe you can go and enjoy the spa of that property as well. So let me paint a picture for you, right? So Sarah, let's say one of our customers, she walks into our hotel room. The light kind of adjusted to the exact brightness she preferred, not because she asked, but because the system kind of learned from her previous three stays that she always dimmed that to the 60%. Maybe the temperature is set to 68 degrees. The music plays softly like the jazz music which she liked, or maybe the minibar is kind of stocked with sparkling water with the dark chocolate. Now, she never filled these, or she never told explicitly these information to the hotel, right? So all of that is kind of captured through all the interactions she has with the property. And then using the data science and machine learning, the hotel company was able to extract it and kind of do it for her, right? So that simply means like the hotel knew because of all of these interactions. So every guest, every stay is unique, because this is what happens when you kind of data science meet the hospitality, because now you know every guest, what they are kind of doing, and not in a bad way, but in a way to kind of make that experience special for that customer. Now, let me give another example, right? So, where let's say you are a general manager of a hotel company, of a hotel, and it's 2 in the morning. Most of your, staff is kind of like sleep, or very limited. But your data science systems, they never sleep, right? So because the all of these systems that we have, these have sensors, right? So when you can actually collect the data from these sensors, you can actually run some anomaly test and kind of say, hey, something is not right with this elevator, because for the past 4 days it kind of running slow. So you kind of already with those sensors, you kind of already gather that information, and you kind of call the maintenance, or maybe schedule a maintenance for that, and you kind of was able to prevent this breaking down of the elevators and the stranded guest on the 15th floor, right? Or maybe you can just see, like, the air conditioning was not working correctly, and you kind of sense that using these data science techniques, and kind of schedule the maintenance before the customer kind of knows what the problem is. So problem solved before they exist. This isn't just a reactive service. I would say this is more of a predictive service, where you kind of use the data science techniques to help your customers to foresee the problems which have not yet occurred. Now, most of you kind of might be thinking about, that sounds, very cold, because you kind of using all of these sensors, and then kind of running the data science in the background itself, right? But where's the human touch on this, right? So let's talk about this, right? So AI, like a lot of, people kind of hesitant that AI kind of, take place their job, or it kind of, keep them out of the business. But AI is not there, right? It's not, us versus AI. It's always us and AI. AI is kind of, or the data science is kind of is here to empower them, to improve the experiences. So, like, when your front desk, associates guest greets a returning customer, they don't just say welcome, right? They say like, welcome back, Mr. Say Johnson. I see you are here for your daughter's graduation. Congratulations. And I'm pretty sure, like, I kind of booked the room which has the same view which you kind of liked it earlier, right? So just see the human interaction here, rather than just trying to schedule a room for the customer. Now the customer is kind of sorry, not like the associate, or the front desk is kind of making a connection with the customer by kind of telling them what they know about them, right? So that's kind of the human connection we are talking about in hospitality, right? Rather than focusing on non-productive work, your associates, or you guys are actually helping your customer better, and kind of talking to them and making those connections as well. So AI is kind of empowering people, and then the trust empowers loyalty. And loyalty, I think everyone understand, like in hospitality, is the most important and a critical part of that, right? So I want you to kind of imagine with me. So, a hotel where every customer feels that they are the only person that matters to this hotel property. So, where every stay is crafted specifically for them, by understanding their previous behaviors, by understanding their preferences, by understanding their experiences. And then when the technology and human work in perfect, where the kind of technology and people work in harmony. So we call that as a hotel of one, because every guest feels special, because they feel like they are the only, focused yeah, person for this property as well. So I mean, one guest, one experience, but multiplied by millions of customers, right? Because that's how you kind of grow. So this isn't, a dream kind of thing. So the technology exists today. The question is not about whether this future is coming or not, right? It's about how you're going to embrace this change and kind of make the life better for your customers. So the marriage of the data science and the hospitality isn't just made in heaven, right? It's the future of our industry, and that's how we kind of help our customers grow, help create those experiences which they cherish, and always remember, hey, we went to that property and that guest kind of serve us the same wine we kind of ordered, and then the same chocolate. All of those things can be powered through the data science. So I think that's pretty much it from my side.
All right. Thank you so very much, Mr. Nitin Kumar. I think it was an absolutely wonderful session to hear you. Tech that makes you feel that the hotel is for that one particular guest itself. Well, indeed, thank you so much for coming and sharing your valuable insight. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Nitin Kumar, Director Data Science Gen AI at Marriott International. And we thank you for sharing your views. Moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, we've got Professor David Foskett joining in all the way from London, OBE, who is here to share his address on the World Tourism Day. Professor Foskett, welcome to the celebrations at World Tourism Day, and over to you. We'll just request to unmute Professor Foskett. 1 second.
Can you hear me?
Yes, we can. Over to you, sir.
Thank you, Abdullah. What a great pleasure and honor it is for me to address you all, ladies and gentlemen, students, and the team of IIHM on this very special day, this World Tourism Day. And this subject is, of course, very, very important to us all. We are living in a new revolution, the AI revolution, artificial intelligence, but I prefer to call it advanced intelligence. AI and these generative technologies that are beginning to change every sector of our lives, but including our own, hospitality and tourism. At IIHM, under the wonderful leadership and direction of the visionary, iconic Dr. Suno Bose, we see how AI has been embraced not as a replacement for human warmth and emotion, but as a partner and a real aid in strengthening it. This is our modern philosophy of high tech and extremely high touch. AI can help us predict travel patterns. We know it can help us reduce waste, design eco-friendly itineraries, and manage our resources more wisely. But let us remember that technology is an aid to inform us, but it is not to replace the human heart that inspires us all. In this balance lies the future of our sustainable tourism. To the students of IIHM, let me say this: you are extremely fortunate to be at a wonderful institution, a world-leading hospitality management institution that is not just teaching hospitality, but also leading this global conversation about its future. You are being trained and educated to the very highest standards, not only to become excellent professionals, but also to be the responsible custodians of all our cultures. You will be this generation that ensures that when a traveler comes to India or wherever you're working in the world, to Asia, they leave not just the photographs, but the memories of kindness, sustainability, and the authentic human connection that is the true measure of hospitality. They go away with this customer guest delight that you have created. For someone like myself who has spent a lifetime in hospitality education, I have always believed that we are simply not training students for jobs. We are preparing them for leadership, stewardship, and citizenship of the world. And we know that hospitality is one of the most powerful ambassadors of peace. As Mother Teresa always said, friendship begins with a smile. And that smile transcends barriers of language, nationality, politics, and reminds us that we are all guests on this planet. So, my message to you today is threefold. Embrace this innovation. Be curious about AI, technology, and data. For all these will shape your careers. And what an exciting time to be a student of hospitality at IIHM. I wish I could become a student of IIHM. And because you will champion sustainability in your kitchens, hotels, classrooms, and communities, and make choices that will protect our shared future. The future belongs to you. Never lose the human touch. For hospitality at its core is about people, serving people, caring for people. That can never and will never change. On this great World Tourism Day, let us all commit ourselves to making tourism not only a driver of economic growth, but of the force for good, the greater force for good, for inclusion and for transformation. I have to congratulate, as always, IIHM for once again taking this global lead in this dialogue. And I congratulate and applaud Dr. Suborno Bose for his remarkable vision, his wonderful, remarkable team. To the students, the future is in your hands. It belongs to you. Lead this with courage, compassion, initiatives, and creativity. Thank you, and may your journey be filled with learning for purpose, with useful knowledge that changes our lives for the better, with passion and joy. What an exciting time it is for us all, but especially for the students of IIHM who have chosen wisely to become students of this wonderful, iconic, global institution that leads the world under the direction and leadership of the great Dr. Suborno Bose. Thank you all for listening and have a wonderful day. Thank you.
Thank you, Professor Foskett, for this address all the way from London. Ladies and gentlemen, that was Professor David Foskett. And moving forward, ladies and gentlemen, over to Dr. Bose, our chairman and CEO of IIHM, for the vision address for the World Tourism Day celebrations at IIHM. Dr. Bose, over to you.
Very good morning, good afternoon, good evening to the world as we celebrate the World Tourism Day, the eve of the World Tourism Day. And we at IIHM are extremely excited to be a part of this tourism revolution that's happening. And this time the theme has been on sustainability. And we also wanted to include AI as a part of IIHM's own theme or agenda in the tourism and hospitality industry. Thank you, Mr. Nitin Kumar, for your fantastic keynote. And thank you, Professor Foskett, for your absolutely incredible insight into AI, but how AI will never replace the human touch, which I fully agree with everyone. AI will help us, but AI is something that will never replace the humanity, the humility, and the human touch, because our industry is all about that. And once again, very warm namaskar and regards and greetings to all who are with us right today. Today is indeed a momentous occasion because it's eve of the World Tourism Day, and we have all come here together to celebrate not just the power of travel and tourism, but also the immense responsibility it carries to build a better, more inclusive, and more sustainable world. This year's global theme focuses on sustainability and technology, and I'm proud to say IIHM stands at the very forefront of this transformative journey. We are a global organization, a global institution with a conscience. And today we launch something that is very ambitious and also embodies a vision for the future, not just for us, but for the entire hospitality industry. The Namaste SDG Sustainability GPT Builder, the world's first initiative that fuses artificial intelligence with United Nations Sustainable Development Goals, the SDGs, dedicated entirely to the world of travel and tourism and hospitality, will be launched, unveiled today on the eve of the World Tourism Day 2025. A lot of people will ask why we build this. And why we build this is very interesting, because AI is empowering the students, the hoteliers, educators, the policymakers, the nation builders, and the entire industry is now empowered and propelled by the power of AI. The answer also lies in Namaste, an AI mentor that helps anyone to create intelligent tools aligned to the 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, as we say, tools that can be used to reduce food waste, optimize energy, promote diversity, support local community, and much more. And it's not theoretical and academic. The GPT doesn't just talk sustainability, it builds it, it works and revolves around the entire ecosystem of travel and tourism. The power of the AI is now huge. In fact, today we are proud to launch something which which is so, so important. I'm sure it's going to change the way we look at the sustainability in the future. These sustainability projects, which align to the United Nations SDGs, are designed for the industry, the travel, tourism, hospitality industry. And this will really help all of us in a very big way. Now, hospitality's role in sustainable future. I think that is a core. The industry touches every corner of our planet, as Professor Foskett was just now saying. And from bustling urban hotels to quiet eco tourism and eco resorts, we serve people, we depend on nature, and we share cultures. With such influence comes great responsibility also. And with AI, we now have a tool to act faster, smarter, and more inclusively. Our commitment is very, very clear. At IIHM, we are not just preparing students for a job, we are preparing them to be leaders of change. Our vision is very clear. Hospitality that is low carbon, high impact. Tourism that uplifts community and protects heritage. Growth that is inclusive, equitable, and powered by smart technology. But beyond all this also remains the human touch. As they say, high tech, higher touch. Because in tourism and hospitality, human touch is essential. Human touch is something that is the soul of this industry. And AI will never replace the human touch. But what AI is doing is to help us to make our customer even more happier, giving them a better guest experience, and also to create that human touch more inclusively, which was not possible before. So for even for sustainability to build around and to be in action, we need AI to power the sustainability drive in the tourism and hospitality sector. So I think sustainability is the heart, AI is the soul, and the humanity is the heart, soul, and the mind. Without human, without the mind, neither the heart nor the soul would act. So with that vision, I now would like to request my colleague Shujoy Gupta to unveil and launch and show the world the sustainability SDG GPT, which has been made, produced in-house by IIHM for the world of tourism and hospitality. Thank you so much. And in advance, wishing everybody a very happy, a very prosperous, a very productive, and a very smart and intelligent World Tourism Day tomorrow. Thank you so much and namaskar. Over to you, Shujoy.
Thank you very much, Dr. Bose, for your riveting vision address on such an important day. Before I take Dr. Bose's vision forward and articulate it, there are 3 points raised by Mr. Nitin Kumar, which are very important and linked to why we are doing this sustainability GPT. Firstly, he said it is us and AI and not us versus AI. Secondly, he said this AI intervention exceeds expectations. And thirdly, he said problems are solved even before they are noticed. And I think one of the reasons why we are doing this is basically this. The Namaste SDG Sustainability GPT Builder is an AI tool that anyone in hospitality, from students to GMs, can use to build real sustainability projects aligned with UN SDGs. Imagine designing a plastic-free hotel or a carbon-neutral travel app just by chatting with AI. It's like having a smart sustainability mentor in your pocket. This is our way of combining hospitality, technology, and purpose. And most importantly, as Dr. Bose says, sharing it with the world. Now, what can you do with this GPT? This GPT offers AI project ideas for every SDG goal. It offers full project plans with KPIs, datas, budgets. It offers a built-in kit, a toolkit to launch your own customized GPT for sustainability. Most importantly, it's an instant guide for educators, startups, NGOs, and students. Whether you're a 19-year-old child adult or a 49-year-old resort owner, this AI is your partner in building a better future. Now let us see and explain how this works. Let us, once the GPT comes up on screen, let us ask this GPT one question, which will give you a snippet and a sense of this. And I think we can all pat ourselves on the back and give ourselves a clap for the actual now launch of the IIHM SDG Sustainability GPT Builder, powered by IIHM under the vision of Dr. Bose. So the first question that I would offer to ask this GPT is, how can a student use this GPT to turn a sustainability idea into a real AI solution? Most importantly, a solution that gets noticed by industry leaders. So this is the question that we've asked. I'll quickly read it once again. How can a student use the GPT to turn a sustainability idea into a real AI solution that gets noticed by industry leaders? So let's see the answer to the first question ever posed to this GPT. Okay, now let us look at this. It tells you exactly how to turn this GPT into a sustainability idea and give you a real AI-powered solution. For instance, step one, it teaches you to explore the SDG Explorer. So that is your step one, where you use the Explorer to pick one of the 17 UN Sustainable SDGs. That will give you 3 to 5 AI project ideas tailored for hospitality and tourism. Then you can even see impact, like carbon dioxide emissions per room night. What is the percentage of local sourcing that you need to do? It tells you how much of liters of water that you need for every guest night. These are in maximum and fantastic inputs that you get before any project. Let's go down and look at some other points now. Step two, it tells you how to build your project. It details the problem that the hospitality sector faces. It gives you an AI-powered solution to that problem. It gives you core features and technical flows, and gives you a step-by-step roadmap, timeline, and budget. At the end of the day, don't forget the main question. You are basically turning a sustainability idea into an AI-powered solution. Now let's go to step 3. Now you launch the GPT Maker. This is your moment under the sun. Your GPT will generate the name, description, and role instructions of your project. It will give you knowledge bullets and prompts. It gives you guardrails and evaluation criteria. What do you get? What is the result? The result is a real GPT on the OpenAI store that showcases your skills and your commitment to sustainable tourism. And step 4, prove value with the impact estimator. So it basically forecasts your project's sustainability impact. You don't need to do that. The GPT will tell you the sustainability impact of your project. And that is so very critical. It gives you directional estimates. It gives you links to SDG targets. It gives you ideas for certifications. It's absolutely inclusive and it is intensive. Can we proceed to see what else do we have? Yes. Most importantly, I would request all who've joined this to essentially focus on why this gets you noticed. At the end of the day, that's a key goal. See, it gives you industry-ready vocabulary. For instance, carbon dioxide emissions per room night. It gives you tangible tools. It doesn't give you vague ideas. It's a real GPT asset you can show on LinkedIn or in your interviews. It is backed by IIHM's leadership in AI-powered hospitality sustainability. So the moment you ask, this is the depth, extent of what you get. So this is going to be very, very important. And ultimately, the end result is that global collaboration also starts here, because we invite all our friends and partners across the globe, from UN WTO to hospitality brands to AI innovators. Let us create these solutions. Let us create them together. And let us make this the most sustainable industry in the world. Let this GPT be a gift to the world, from India to the globe, from education to innovation, from vision to action. Thank you very much. We now quickly proceed to the much awaited panel discussion on sustainable tourism and AI. This is indeed a marriage made in heaven. And we have an excellent team of panelists who are stakeholders from industry and elsewhere. And before we start, I'd just like to touch upon one fact, that this year's theme, tourism and sustainable transformation, calls actually for a structural change. The theme is not just tourism, but transformation. And this structural change is so much more important than just incremental fixes. It is very important that this particular theme underlines sustainability, inclusion, resilience, and sustainable transformation. It is a shift from aspiration to measurable goals. It optimizes resources, it manages visitor flows, and it reduces overburden on tourism. I would now like to introduce and welcome the following panelists. We have Mr. Venkateshan Dattatrayan, who is the Regional Director, South India of the Ministry of Tourism and Government of India. And he is actually the implementer of the government's vision on tourism, on Atmanirbhar, and all other principles under the vision of Prime Minister Modi to implement his principles of sustainable tourism. Next, we have Ms. Aradhana Kovala. She's the CEO of Aptmind Partners. She's a thought leader on sustainability and diversity and the future of tourism. You're very welcome, ma'am, for giving so much value to our discussions.
Delighted to be here.
Thank you, ma'am. We also have Mr. Rohit Hangal, who is the National Secretary of SCAL International India and the Director of Spear Travel Media. Mr. Hangal, it's such a pleasure to have you here. We also have two other very esteemed guests. Mr. Vijay Mohan Raj, who's a former cricketer and a sports administrator, and if I may quickly add, the only Hyderabadi to score a double hundred in a Ranji Trophy final. And he also is the founder of Sabira Travels and Tours. And Vijay Mohan Raj will also speak a lot about sustainability, sports, and tourism. And finally, and surely not the least, we have Mr. Akhil Gupta, who is the Chief Business Officer of Hotel Superhero. So he's a hospitality tech leader in digital transformation. I'd like to begin by first going to Ma'am Aradhana Kovala. And ma'am, my first question to you is, you see, diversity and inclusion are cornerstones for sustainable transformation. But do you see AI as a tool that can level this playing field for underrated groups and underrepresented groups of tourism? Can AI actually do that? And can AI do that to remove these existing biases against the underprivileged?
Sujay, thank you. Before I start, can I just wish everyone a World Tourism Day? Dr. Bose, Abdullah, everyone in the fraternity team of IIHM, it's a school which is very close to my heart. Whenever I'm back in India, I try and always visit Dr. Bose. So it's a pleasure to be part of what the school is doing, especially on such a lovely occasion, which is to honor an industry that is, I think, wonderful in more ways than one. So, Jay, to answer your question, I think my answer would be I see it as both, which is to say, if it's going to be positive or negative is going to entirely depend on what we do as leaders with the power that we have in our hands over the next few years. And let me explain why or what I'm saying. So, on the positive side, artificial intelligence is a market equalizer, right? I mean, think about Spotify. Algorithms is what turned a bedroom or a bathroom singer into a global star overnight. Or you can look at Etsy, where 92% of all sellers are women. And it's AI-driven search which actually helped these craftswomen, sometimes in rural towns, to reach global buyers they'd never meet otherwise. Now imagine the same power in tourism. A
Right.
homestay in Nagaland, a women's weaving cooperative in Ladakh, or a fishing village in Kerala, suddenly showing up right next to big brands, big players, then you search for things or your next trip has been made possible by AI. Here's the fun fact with our industry: 80% of all businesses are small, medium, or micro enterprises. They're often led by women. They are rural or indigenous, and they remain invisible on global platforms. And AI can change that, right? Which is the positive thing. It's the second point, which is positive, is in its inclusive storytelling and visibility. I mean, think about
Right.
Netflix. We're all on Netflix. Their recommendation engine pushed a very odd series called Squid Game into global feeds. And suddenly the Korean drama became a $900 million cultural juggernaut.
Industry, yes.
AI just didn't entertain us. It redefined what stories the world values. Now think about tourism. Bring the same analogy back. 70% of Gen Z travelers say they want authentic community-based experiences. But what do they see online, right? They see Paris, they see Bali, they see Venice over and over again. The real stories from unknown, invisible places are often buried. And this is where AI could help flip the script by surfacing and bringing out hidden stories and matching them with global demand. It can unlock not just economic power, but cultural dignity. This is all positive. There are lots of negative sides.
Right.
People often speak about bias in AI and they say it's just a glitch. It's a bug that we are going to fix with better coding. But data tells us, that's not the case. There are multiple stories, multiple research. MIT has done a fantastic research paper on the ingrained bias with AI. And they exposed how commercial facial recognition systems, airports, border security, even hospitality check-ins have error rates of 34% for women who are brown-skinned like me and all of India, compared to 1% for light-skinned men, right? Now, that's not a bug, that's a systemic bias. If our travel platforms and booking engines are only going to be trained on Western-centric data, what is going to happen? The algorithm is going to keep sending people to Paris, to Bali, to
Paris,
Venice,
yes.
while Indore, Kolkata, Dakar, and I don't know, Dhaka will, and indigenous-led initiatives of tourism in these age areas are going to vanish from the digital map. So
Yeah.
this is something that we have to fix. Look, the key thing to remember is tourism has a colonial baggage, from who owns the resorts to who gets to tell the stories. And if left unchecked, AI is not going to diversify tourism.
Precisely.
It will digitally colonize it. So instead of opening doors, AI could become the ultimate gatekeeper of global visibility. So the power is in our hands and we've got to do something.
Thank you, ma'am. We'll come back to you. I'd love to deep dive into your
Sure.
answers. There are so many layers to unpack, but what's very important is what we always say, that we need to make AI our ally and our friend, and we can't let it get into a runaway train situation. Thank you, ma'am. I'll come back to you, and let me quickly go over to Mr. Venkateshan Dattarayan, who's the Regional Director of South India Ministry of Tourism. Very welcome, sir. and thank you for being here. My question to you is that the Government of India and the Tourism Ministry has been promoting rural tourism, cultural, and heritage tourism circuits. So, how can AI ensure the economic gains of this kind of tourism actually benefits equitably local communities as much as it does urban ones? For instance, I'm looking at farmers, artisans, women. How can AI help in ensuring that these policies are taken and benefits the person who's lowest on this ladder?
Yeah, very good afternoon and namaste to all of you. On this eve of the World Tourism Day, I would like to congratulate the IIHM for organizing this and also having me on this panel here today. My greetings to all of you, Dr. Bose and esteemed panelists. And the Ministry of Tourism has been actively promoting the rural cultural heritage tourism, as you said. And when it comes to the placement of product, the main problem which is faced by the uh, tourism offerings in these remote areas is direct market linkage. That is something which is been seen as a major issue to showcase what is there. So there are so many kind of wonderful experiences that are available across the country in many areas, but many of us don't know. So I think with the AI's powerful solution, we can create direct market linkages where we can connect tourists with these locals, especially the farmers, artisans, etc. And to give an example, there are so many clusters of handicrafts. Today, the tourism industry is one of the biggest supporters of such artisans, etc. And in many times when you kind of presently Google for suppliers, what we get is the first 10 names either in the metro cities, but we don't see the original kind of producers or buyers. So I think AI could be one form of solution where it can directly link the supporters, thereby at least cutting down the middlemen. Secondly, one other area where the AI which can also help is in authentic storytelling also when it comes to tourism, and also through it multilingual tools, the tourists can understand and experience the destinations. And today what we see is also just moving out from the so is the lack of trained and what you call multilingual guides, especially the international. For example,
Right,
of course,
right.
we would have guides who can speak the local, the main languages. But if you look at when we're targeting tourists from Vietnam or Thailand or China, etc., there's hardly anybody who can speak. At such places, I think the AI can help the tourists to hear the stories in their languages and understand and appreciate. And also for the managers of the rural tourism or the kind of the gram sabhas or whoever is the village
That's right.
tourism council, etc., it can help
Correct.
by giving some predictive analytics also. And in all, I would say that it is kind of by blending this technology and tradition, AI can democratize the benefits of tourism, and it can help the rural communities to reach their markets, and it can also help in kind of benefit the custodians of the India's incredible heritage. So overall, I would say more mainly to give a direct market linkages and placing the products so that it is visible to the
Right.
people who are seeking it. Thank you, sir.
No, this is fantastic, especially by linking and ensuring that there's no language barrier collapses is very important. I'll just give you a very short example. In Goa, the government of tourism is also doing work along these lines, and they have a very interesting system. Is that when foreign tourists go to a local bread maker and look at the concept of bread making, they can actually talk to the bread maker in French, and the local Goan bread maker can actually understand it in Konkani. And when he replies in Konkani, the French tourists can hear him. So there's no barrier at all, and AI does a lot of that. So anyway, thank you so much. Going to Mr. Vijay Mohan Raj, it's your time on the crease now, and the question that I have is that how can countries like India leverage AI-driven sports tourism to balance economic opportunity with local community well-being. And I'll just expand this question a little bit, because if you see that beyond the cricket fields, we have so many sports that need a lot of boost. I mean, hockey anyway needs a revival, kabaddi, kho, and we were very happy to see that Rajgir hosted the Asia Cup hockey finals. So how do you make sports more inclusive through AI?
Okay, can you hear me?
Yeah, sure. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, besides being a sportsman, I have been very active in tourism as chairman of Travel Agent Association of India in on AP and Telangana, and also the international director of SCOL, besides being president of SCOL in Hyderabad. So
Right.
I have a very positive and experience in trying to improve tourism in every way. But because I'm a sportsman, you have called me labeled me as a sportsman, sports tourism. So anyway, I also have been using technology as a level C coach in training a lot of international players who have played for the country. So I have used technology, and I can tell you one thing, that there are two parts to this. One is preparatory based, one is performance based. So when
Right.
technology in preparation, we, as some one of our panelists mentioned about measurement. You know, you measure performance, you measure preparation. Similarly, in AI as well, what we have is we can get the knowledge of what things are available, but the wisdom to use it, as Professor David said, is very important. So the human element cannot be eliminated at all. So coming to sports tourism, how we can utilize it, I'll just give an example. We have these IPL matches, we have the football, the Olympics. Now India is hoping to stage the Olympics. We will be working in stadiums where a lot of spectators will be visiting. Tourists will be coming into
Right.
the country to use to come and watch these games. So what
Right.
the tourist does, or the spectator does, is he goes and buys a ticket, whether he buys it online or he buys it on the counter, but he buys a ticket for that. When he buys a
Right.
ticket, they what he requires a place to stay. He requires to come into the city and see the place,
Absolutely.
be aware of what tourism opportunities he has around the city. He also has to be given exposure on what is available, the hotels, the Airbnbs that are available, the restaurants which are available. He needs to know all
Right.
those things if he wants to come and make his experience, because tourism is all about experience, the expectations and experience. If there's too much gap, then you're not making the customer happy. So finally, it's all about experience. So when he comes into a city and he wants to get the best out of the place that he's been, he's got to be made aware of all what is available for him to enjoy that experience. Now, here where data
Right.
comes in. When data comes in, it has to be fed into a system, into a grid, and that grid has to be interlinked with, say, the fact that he's got and bought a ticket. That grid has to be interlinked with that, which recognizes that this person is going to be coming into the city to watch to be at this event. When he's there at this event, and he's got the ability, the power to see what is happening around him and what kind of facilities are available, he's able to get more experience, a better experience of that particular city. Now, as
Right.
Madam mentioned, we are missing out on these small players. At any time, we miss out on the small players. So when you have when in artificial intelligence, the advantage is that it is not linked, the data that is fed in the grid is of the big and the small players. So he has a choice. He can choose a smaller place, which is a small Airbnb, or a small hotel, or a big hotel, or whatever. He's got the choice, which otherwise would not have it, because the smaller people do not have the advantage of advertising or to come out
Correct.
and
Correct.
spend money
Correct.
on getting
Correct.
people to know about what is available for them. So it helps
Right.
the community. it helps the community around, it makes it equitable for everybody to benefit from the technology which is there available to the person who's walking into the city to watch the event. So the grid should be so good that the event managers, whoever is doing the event, has to link the grid from the time the person purchases the ticket, right, and expose and gives him an opportunity to connect with all the entire platform where he can enjoy the event by getting an opportunity to see what is there around him. In which way tourism truly benefits in the sense that not only will you make the experience for him to watch the event, but in the time that he spends in the particular place, the city or the country, he gets an opportunity to go and see different places, and he gets the opportunity to he exposes the purchase of the ticket also gives an opportunity to expose him to see the different places that he would not have seen if he had not been made aware through the other channels which are available now. So those cost a lot of money, which I feel like, for example, Mr. Venkatesan mentioned about the rural areas. Yes, that's one area which has been missed out consistently by everybody. We had an exposure about in our one of our small tourism events about farm tourism, which when we heard about it, the benefit that a person gets by going into the rural area and working and probably staying in a farm for say a couple of days also is an experience. So tourism is all about experience, and if we can make sports couple sports with the experience, make it experiential with the available avenues of tourism in that particular area or the place or the country, it would add to the experience on the happiness, the pleasure that we are giving the tourists. This is
fantastic point.
something. This is something which is being missed out in our country right now. Now, I worked with Skoll International as a director, and I've been exposed to the leaders of the world when I was on the same platform. I was one of the 5 people in the leadership. And I realized one thing, that there is a big disconnect between what is actually required by tourism and what is actually the leadership envisaging. So this disconnect which is existing has to change. And only when that changes, I think tourism is going to be it is already one of the biggest GDP earners in the world, as Mr. Abdullah mentioned. 10% of the GDP comes from tourism. One on every 5 jobs, one is coming in tourism, which is actually 40 categories, not just the travel agent and the tour operators and the hotels. There are 40 different categories which are there in tourism, which are often not coordinated together. People don't look at it as one. But tourism is actually, for every 5 employments that happen in the world, one is from this particular area. These are UNWTO statistics, not mine, not yours, but these are official statistics which exist. And I think it's amazing that we are now looking at tourism in our country in a different manner. When I started working in tourism, it was a luxury. People used to look at it as even the government has a tourism minister it's supposed to be low budget, and it is supposed to be a very neglected area. I mean, they do it because they have to do it. But now tourism is not looked in the same manner. Tourism is becoming important in our country, and our government has also realized on what importance it should be giving to tourism. So thank you, Dr. Thank you, IIHM.
I actually love the way, just to interrupt, I just actually love the way you've managed to take it beyond the realm of just sports and take it to this wonderful integration of tourism and technology and sports and so on and so forth to make it so inclusive. I will come back to you, Mr. Mohan Raj. I had to cut you short a little bit. Please pardon me for that, because Mr. Akhil Gupta has not yet come in, but I'll surely get back to you and let you complete your point. Okay.
Yeah, okay.
Mr. Gupta, as a chief business officer of Hotel Superhero, you've also kind of ensured that you've played a part in digital transformation in the manner that you could. One of the key challenges that especially mid-level hotels have is data integration, and that is extremely important, because at the end of the day, the data that mid-level hotels get, they get it in silos. See, for instance, you may have the OTA team which has a separate data, the front office may have separate data, housekeeping may have separate data, and all these data, as I said, are in different silos. At the end of the day, AI cannot work unless there is an integration and all these silos come into one. So what do you as a digital tech leader in hospitality have to say, and what are you doing to ensure that AI plays a part in bringing these silos together?
Well, thank you, Sujoy, for asking me this question, and thank you, IIHM, for having me on this panel. Uh, well, you hit the nail right on the head, right? You mentioned like the biggest challenges for small and mid-scale hotels in India is that the data is present in silos. And firstly, thank you for asking this question, because I think small and mid-scale hotels are the backbone of tourism in India. But unfortunately, they do not get the deserving limelight, spotlight, at forums like these. So very happy that you've asked this question in context of small and mid-scale hotels, firstly. Like you rightly said, right? I mean, small and mid-scale hotels are constrained for budgets. They have different challenges. They are technologically laggards. They have a poor IT infrastructure. They don't have the digital maturity of some of the larger international brands. And they mostly end up, having their data scattered all across, right? I mean, they could have a dated PMS, which is not, synced to any of the channel managers, OTAs. They could be using, for all Excel, or even a ledger book, which is required by the local authorities in a lot of cases. Uh, and, and frankly, if the mid-scale and small hotels, they do not adopt technology and AI, they are going to be left behind. Uh, well, at Hotel Superhero, we are trying to revolutionize and bring AI into the hands of small and mid-scale hotels. And I'm going to shamelessly plug that Hotel Superhero is available for hotels for as less as rupees 49 per month. That's less than about 70 cents per month. But nonetheless, right, if you're a small and mid-scale hotel, my recommendation would be the DIL framework that we recommend, starting with D, which is digitization. I think the first and foremost thing would be to get all the data, move to a PMS that is, that has ability to sync with other APIs, other channel managers, OTAs, etc. Have a decent POS available at the hotel. Gather all data and put all of this data into the PMS in the POS. That is digitization. Uh, do away with your pen and paper, hard copies, etc. The second would be integration. The idea would be to use these API-driven platforms to integrate your inventory, your OTAs, your pricing, your CRS, your reservations, everything, so that your system is fully integrated. And the last point of the framework would be L, which is light AI tools, right? So there are a lot of these simple AI tools that are available, like a chatbot, an AI chatbot that can, take care of your customer queries, reservations, or it could be, a smart AI tool to help you manage your pricing better.
Across functions. Okay.
Of course, across functions, right? So, and not just to reservations queries, but you can also use some of these smarter tools that are available to manage your revenues better, right? And these smart revenue management systems, they use a lot of predictive AI based on your past data, based on what the competition is doing, trends, forecasts, and even some of these systems are so smart that they can also check for any blackout events, any major events happening, and adjust the prices. And the best part is that a lot of these APIs are available, right? So the Google APIs for flights is available to integrate. So if you know that there's a sudden surge in the incoming flights, or the prices have increased of incoming flights to a particular city, that there is more than average influx of tourists on that particular day. So you can just increase the prices. Or let's say you're running a hotel in Shimla and Missouri, and you're predicting snowfall, right? The Google Weather API tells you that there's going to be snowfall 6 days from now. You just increase the prices. So I think that's how the small hotels and the mid-scale hotels should think about, adopting technology and AI.
Okay, so I'll just get into the second and last round, and I'd like to get back Radha as well. Ma'am, I have two options. One is I'm tempted to deep dive and extend the points that we were making earlier. So with some speakers, I will deep dive because I'm curious to know a little bit more. With others, I'd like to expand the question base a little more to get more inputs. With you, ma'am, I'd just like to just go on the same journey of leadership, inclusivity, getting into marginalized communities from the leadership angle. See, for instance, as a thought leader, at the end of the day, you need to have ethical AI governance in tourism. You need to have guidelines. You need to have policies that underscore all that you've said. At the same time, we all need multi-stakeholder coalitions. This cannot happen with just one of us. So in the sense, if you could just weave in a bit of all this and these thoughts to ensure that you have multi-stakeholder coalition and you have proper ethical AI governance to tie this up together.
Sure, I'm going to give it a try, Sujay. But listen, I just want to start by saying AI is going to reshape the future of travel. That's inevitable, right? The only real choice that we have is whether it becomes a colonial echo chamber or a platform for justice and humanity. So that's really the only thing that we're discussing here. With regards to the integration, which Akhil was also talking about, you just need to do two things right. And it's very, very simple. And I will come to the last point, which is about how do you actually bring it all in and make it inclusive. The first thing that AI can do right, or well, we can do right, is we need to share the data, right? I mean, Akhil was talking about airlines, hotels, and booking platforms. But what happens
Correct.
today mostly is everyone hoards their own data and numbers. And the result is we manage tourism like we're managing a bit like climate change without weather forecasts. To make the analogy about weather forecasts as well, where it's snowing, whatever is happening. So if you go back to Google Maps or Waze, which when it was launched, they made everything open. It was open feeds. Congestion didn't disappear as a result of this, but because it was open feed, drivers could reroute themselves and the whole system flowed better. We in tourism, we need the same. Unless we share data, every traveler is going to pile into the same bottleneck. So before we had climate satellites, we didn't see deforestation or emissions in real time. Now we do, right? Because the satellite data is open and governments and NGOs can both act faster. Tourism
Right.
is still operating a bit like pre-satellite. We know the damage only after it has happened. So a shared tourism data space would give us an early warning system that everyone can openly access. The second that we need is we need to audit the algorithms. Everyone here is saying the same thing. We need, AI, when played right, can result in visibility. Absolutely, yes. But currently, every trip we book is nudged by an algorithm. And right now, those systems optimize for clicks and not for fairness or sustainability. That's why, some locations show up before the other ones, right? Or a big hotel beats the family-owned, a small one, which is run in some remote corner in Nagaland or Northeast India, because algorithms are currently shaping opportunity. And that's it. So if we have data spaces plus algorithm edits, we have one which tells us what's happening and the other which lets us decide what we see. So these are the two things that we need. Now I'm going to quickly come into leadership and how do we fix this. Number one, AI is only as good as the data we feed it as leaders. So let's train it in a diversified platform. Let it not just be Eurocentric reviews and Western travel blogs, because if we do that, we're only going to get Eurocentric results. Global leaders need to invest in data sets that reflect the indigenous, that reflect the Indo, that reflect the Asian, that reflect the Afro-descendant, rural, minority-owned tourism operators. Otherwise, we're all going to remain invisible for the algorithm. That's number one. Second,
thank you so much, ma'am. Okay. Sorry, I thought I stopped you. Would you like to
sorry,
complete?
very
Please do.
quickly. Just very quickly, we need to have ethical guardrails, right? Like think about UNESCO. If there are World Heritage Sites, UNESCO has a way of actually ensuring that there is transparency in algorithms fairness in recommendation systems, because that's how they get the World Heritage Site. We don't have the same. So set ethical guardrails as leaders. And finally, you need to have infrastructure for inclusion. And think about it. We can talk about whatever we want here in this panel, but inclusion of any kind is impossible without connectivity. We are 8 billion population today, 2.5 billion people are still offline. That means billions of those stories can't even enter the algorithm.
What a great point.
If you are, as a leader, you have to treat digital infrastructure, broadband, affordable devices. It's a big problem in India as we speak. Unless we do that, without it, whole regions are going to be digitally excluded.
That's a great point. I'm so glad somebody underlined this so vociferously. I'd just like to go back to Mr. Dattatrayan. Sir, if you could kindly unmute. Yeah.
May I, sorry, Sujay, can I just excuse myself? Gentlemen, this is a fascinating.
Yes, ma'am, I'm aware that you have a.
I'm here in Malaysia to celebrate World Tourism Day, which is being hosted by the UN in Malaysia this year. I was holding my dinner back. I have to excuse myself. Thank you for having me.
And thank you so much for gracing this panel. Thank you.
Thank you. Bye-bye.
Mr. Dattatrayan, I just wanted to get back to you on a very key question. You see, for hospitality, AI, education to move forward, educational institutions like the IIHM and the government need to work together. And there is a lot of collaboration that is also happening. My question to you, or rather, your thoughts on this, is that at the end of the day, what is the call to action that is needed to bring academia and industry together? For instance, at IIHM, we are producing future leaders of hospitality. From your perspective, what is your call to action? What do we need to do to get academia and industry work together for sustainable tech and human touch?
Yeah, thank you again. Actually, this is a very appropriate kind of thing to be discussed here. Primarily, there has been a constant talk that there is total disconnect between the academia and the industry. But then,
yes,
what we kind of need to look at it is to kind of believe in each of these institutions, because today the industry has already gone from academia only. But then for the academia also, we need to adapt and we need to innovate. So unless and until we are not able to adapt and innovate, I think at some point we'll be lost. So there is a need to check what is the industry trends and what is the expectations of industry, and then tailor our what do you call syllabuses or the courses to the requirements that can meet the needs of the academia, the needs of the industry. For example, if you look at the latest trends that are presently in use in the industry, especially with the reservation systems, or be it even the kitchen equipment, etc., or any other system that we follow. So I think we need to kind of understand what is the current trend, what is in use, so that our children who are in the our colleges, etc., can learn and implement what is happening. See, if you look at, there are so many engineering colleges which are producing engineers, but when they really land up in the factories, it is something a completely different scenario. So I think that should not happen. This is where we can kind of work with the industry and also see what are the expectations of industries and see how we can implement it. That way, I think the gap will be bridged, and the present system where most of the colleges have the 6 months of industrial training or on the job training does give some exposure, but then when they also come back, they are also working in a different environment and they're studying in a different environment. So I think we need to kind of work hand in hand and not kind of basically find fault with each other, but see how we can collaborate and jointly work together. So already this is happening with many of the major chains who are kind of aligned with many of the institutions, and they are giving a good platform for the students also to learn. And secondly, another thing is, for the academy also, we need to be constantly in touch with the industry leaders and kind of have a contact, just not leaving it to only the
right.
what we call uh, these selections and other.
Yeah, there needs to be ground level action. You just
Yeah,
cannot
yeah, yes,
keep it in the
yes,
realm of
certainly,
policy.
yes,
I
yes. That
totally agree with
is
you.
that is one
Yeah.
thing. That is what I feel too.
No, actually, thank you very much. And what you said is very, very encouraging for academia and government to work together. And we at IIHM are in the forefront of this, and we are very encouraged by your words, sir. Thank you so much, Mr. Monraj. I was very fascinated by the way you brought together the opportunities of sports and tourism and make it so intrinsic, and the way you integrated it, and that also gives us a lot of hope for hospitality institutions, because we train our students not just in tourism but in hospitality as well, and to become like entrepreneurs of this nature. So in the sense that if we were to for instance infuse this spirit, what would be your call to action for youth leaders in hospitality schools like IIHM to bring together AI, tourism, sports for a more sustainable future? What would you, as a guru, advise our students?
Play a sport. That's the first thing I'm going to advise them, because sports makes you a better human being. So that's the first thing that I would tell all your students. Some sport,
Mhm.
just play it for pleasure, but
Right,
it teaches you how to work beyond your limits, to the limits and beyond. That's the caption.
right,
Okay.
right.
As far as learning on what I have spoken so far, I
Mhm.
feel it opens the mind to so many different things, possibilities. When I spoke just by buying a ticket and going to a counter or going on a line and just filling in
Mhm.
your details, some few details, and you can open the door of your mind, you can open the door to so much technology that is available. But the
That's
key
right.
is, like Madam said, Panna Madam, Aradhna Madam said,
Mhm.
the data that is fed in. And if the data that is fed in is open to all, it includes very inclusive, then it makes a lot of sense that we can do a lot for the community. Like I
Correct.
said before, that our community, which is small, which has got, they're small players. They're not small, they're
Mhm.
good operators, but they are small. They cannot afford to go and advertise on their product, but they are available. If we can manage to bring them into the fold and expose them to this person who's coming into the country, the tourist, whether he's a domestic tourist or he's an international, if he's coming in and he gets the chance to purchase. But nowadays,
Mhm.
tickets are purchased online. So it's even better, because when you go and purchase online, you're doing it
Mhm.
far before, much before the event itself.
That's correct.
And
That's
then
correct.
after
Yes.
you purchase the ticket and you know that you're going to get an entry, then you're looking for opportunities.
That's
So
right.
you're
That's right.
getting time to view the different options that you have. And that is even better, because then you can select and you can go through, say, the websites, or you can go through and make a choice. Then why should I
Right.
go to the big when I have something available which is close by? Most
Mhm.
important, which I have a point which I did not touch, it helps the management of the event, because when you are putting in data and you say that I'm, for example, I'm in Hyderabad and I stay in a
Mhm.
in an area which is Sikandrabad. My hotel is in
Mhm.
Sikandrabad, and I am going to go for the event. So the because my data is fed in, the control traffic control knows where the congestion is going to happen. Obviously, because
That's
everyone is
very
going to
important.
come
Yes.
to the event
Yes.
at one time and leave at one time. So they know exactly that the congestion is going to happen in these areas of the city. So they can plan their management of the event accordingly. So
Right. Right.
these are the possibilities are infinite. You can manage, and you can bring in AI into the fold and manage an event with so much efficiency, which is not existing now. In India, we still have traffic jams. You know what happened at Bangalore
That's right. Correct.
recently when they
Yes.
had the
Absolutely.
IPL
The
celebration.
stampede that happened.
Yeah,
Yes.
the
Yes.
stampede has happened because they didn't have information. They didn't know where the people were coming from. So these are the things. At every IPL event, you find you will have a traffic jam, or you will have some kind of glitch that is happening
Sure.
outside the stadium, which you can avoid if you are actually managing the people better, because the data is available. So this is what AI can do in a sports event. As far as sports is concerned, AI is already existing to a great extent, which I can go on elaborating on this panel. But AI is already being used, and every
Right.
every field AI is being used, but we have not been learning to integrate it along with the
Bring it
other
together. Right.
platforms.
Right. Right.
We have to get it into the grid. That's what is required.
I'm afraid we are running out of time, but I think each student should feel very privileged to be a part of this panel. Whoever's tuning in, there's so much to learn, there's so much to unpack. Coming to the last question because of time, not because I want to cut it short. But Mr. Gupta, this is a slightly somber question, and we'll end on a slightly somber note. See, all of us are COVID survivors. And keeping that in mind, let us look at global travel as it's going to shape now. By 2030, we're going to have 2 billion arrivals across the globe in that year. Now, as a hotelier, either mid-level or or a large level hotelier, what do we need to ensure that we have AI-enabled crisis response systems so that we can build in processes for climate emergencies, for pandemics, for sudden demand surges? But that's different. But I was focusing more on unplanned climate and other health disasters that come in. How does the industry plan to have AI enabled crisis response systems?
So, well, I mean, if I were to look at crisis, right? So there is one, preventing and preparing for these crises, and the other one is once these crises have happened, how are responsive, right? And today, if you compare today's times, especially in India, with maybe 30 years ago, you have the NDMC, you have the reserve forces, and you have the local administration. There's a lot of infrastructure that has been built to as a response to any of these crises, be it climatical or even terrorist. But as far as AI is concerned, AI is going to be very predictive in nature. You're going to be seeing a lot of predictive AI, for which I think, like the panel agrees, there needs to be collaboration. The government agencies, the research institutes, they need to work together with the industry, with the hotel industry, with the hospitality industry, which I'm sure is happening at some level. But I think we could always use deeper integration. And this integration need not be limited, with the hoteliers, right? It also has to go down and percolate to the guest, right? So, say for example, if I'm a guest who is making plans to travel to, let's say the hilly regions of Himachal and Uttarakhand, right? And there is a likelihood of, cloudburst or a thunderstorm, which could hamper my travel plan. Then, as a guest, I need to get a message from, let's say, for example, the DGCA, because the DGCA knows that I'm traveling to Leh, or the DGCA knows that I have a ticket booked to Dehradun, right? So that, hey, you're traveling here, but just so you know, the weather is really bad. Say, for example, right, if you're traveling traveling internationally, right, we already have these checks for yellow fever and whatnot. But if AI were to come in place and tell us that, hey, the hotel that you're staying in, right, typically has problems with sanitization, right? Please do not drink this water. This is not potable water off the tap. There could be a lot of applications, but very hard for me to say, how AI will come into picture, because this is anybody's guess where you're sitting.
Right, great. And of course, we've unfortunately run out of time, but the couple of things just wanted to say before we close very quickly. Firstly, if I may send a set of questions to all panelists, because there's so much more to unpack than what we discussed. And if you all could respond to it, and maybe we could convert all that information into some kind of a white paper and use it in our communication systems, I'd be very grateful. Before I conclude, I'll just take 30 seconds just to reflect on what we have just learned. We understand that the hospitality industry touches every corner of our planet. And from bustling hotels to eco-friendly resorts, at the end of the day, we serve people. We depend on nature. We shape cultures. And with such influence comes great responsibility. And with AI, we now have the tools to act faster, act smarter, and more importantly, act more inclusively. Our commitment from the IIHM to the world is three things: hospitality that is low carbon and high impact, tourism that uplifts communities and protects heritage, growth that is inclusive, equitable, and powered by smart technology. Thank you so much. With these words, I hand you back to my very senior colleague, the Chief Operating Officer of IIHM, Mr. Abdul Ahmed.
Thank you, Sujoy. Indeed, some amazing thoughts coming up from the industry leaders. And in the end, you rightly said, low carbon and high impact is the message from IIHM. Ladies and gentlemen, that was the panel discussion that was happening. Moving forward, we have a video message coming up from Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, who is a senior IAS officer, and he's recorded a message for us on the occasion of World Tourism Day. May we have the AV, please?
Hi, I'm Jayesh Ranjan. I work in the government here in Hyderabad. I'm the Tourism, Culture and Sports Secretary. I would like to convey my greetings to everyone on World Tourism Day. This year the theme is on sustainability, responsibility. How do you make tourism an experience which also leaves a very positive impact on the planet, and people who are students in various institutions of tourism, hospitality, and who will join the tourism profession, hospitality profession in months and years to come. These occasions are also very important to understand what kind of trends are prevailing across the world, what are the priorities for our country and our state, and by attending events, activities, programs, webinars on the occasion of Tourism Day, you also get lots of new ideas. I know that today many of students want to become entrepreneurs also, not just take jobs in the organized sector. And if you want to become an entrepreneur as well, some of these ideas that you will pick up in the conferences and seminars and webinars, etc., will help you shape and identify the right line of activity. How do you need to go about it? How do you bring other stakeholders together? So the final thing which I want to tell you is that eventually the main takeaway is that this is a very serious profession. This is a profession where India enjoys very good reputation. As you know, the country's motto is Atithi Devo Bhava, and people who have come to India have been floored with the hospitality that they see here. And obviously it happens. It is delivered by people like you. So never forget that you are training to become a professional. Stick to professional ethics, stick to very good work ethics, but broaden your thinking and understanding by looking at what kind of ideas and themes are promoted during the World Tourism Day. So greetings once again to everyone. Good wishes to all the staff members, all the students, all the stakeholders of IIHM Hyderabad. Have a very, very memorable World Tourism Day on 27th September.
Thank you, Mr. Jayesh Ranjan, for this lovely video that you recorded on the occasion of World Tourism Day. And now that we are talking about sustainable tourism and AI, AI has now teleported Dr. Bose to Melaka, Malaysia. We've got a video coming in of Dr. Bose teleported from Melaka, Malaysia. AV, please.
On this World Tourism Day, from the heritage city of Melaka in Malaysia, I extend my warm congratulations to the host nation. This day is more than celebration. It is when humanity comes together to honor the earth, to connect cultures, and to celebrate the spirit of tourism. The earth is our precious gift, our shared heritage. Its resources are limited, and we must treasure and preserve it, not only for future generations, but for ourselves too. At IIHM, with more than 60 partner countries and institutions, we celebrate together, and we dedicate ourselves to a greener, more sustainable world. Happy World Tourism Day.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Dr. Bose addressing all of us all the way from Melaka, Malaysia. And with this, we come to the end of the session that we had today, celebrations of the World Tourism Day and the panel on sustainable tourism in AI. I think it was a fabulous 1.5 hours of discussion and sessions that we were listening to all the speakers. And I think there's so much of knowledge that we have packed in this 1.5 hours of session, right from the address of Dr. Bose, we moved on to some very interesting facts on the sustainable tourism and AI, where some very interesting points were made about opening the feeds. I think what Mr. Radhana said about Google opening the feeds for assisting the Google Maps, same way, sharing tourism data will definitely add so much of value to benefit the tourism sector. Whether it's the skill mismatch or the language barriers that are being merged by by the Goa government, which Mr. Sujoy talked about, or Mr. Vijay Mohan was talking about, the data set sharing of events on digital can actually help traffic cops plan vehicle movement. And of course, Mr. Akhil Gupta sharing some interesting insights about the superhero and the integration of Google to assist even the smallest of hotels to catch on to the search pricing. I think this was a very, very informative session. Ladies and gentlemen, we come to the end of the session. As Mr. Sujoy said, we would have loved to continue and discuss and deep dive into these points, but citing the paucity of time, it's time for us to move on. Wish you a very, very happy World Tourism Day, ladies and gentlemen. And in the end, we keep track of what's the latest and you keep track of us. Until next IIHM session, catch us. Thank you and goodbye.